Hi everyone, we're going to do an update on our video that I know just got done a couple weeks ago. But we're going to make one change dealing with the DIN rail breakers. Just for our situation and the systems we use with SolarEdge, the system doesn't allow, when the covers are on, when the dead fronts are on, for us to install our standard lockout disconnect. So we're going to show you a different version. So if you've already watched the other video, come back and watch this one because it's going to help a little bit. We're getting a little more into what some of the things that are going to be going on. So first of all, we want to talk about is what comes in your kit and why we built the kit we did. I have found that most of the kits on the market right now do not work for most situations. They work for half the situations. So you end up having to do other things. So for us right now, this kind of works. Now there's some things that we're going to talk about that aren't in our kit, but are in our company kit here at the office that allow you to be able to lock out other items. One is going to be the cord lockout, and this can be done in either the style like this that pops onto the cord and has a lockout on it that we use here. Another version, if you've got other types that's here at the shop, is going to be our version that actually pops completely over the item. So we'd stick our cord in here, plug it in there, lock it so it won't, so it can't be used, and then tag it out. One other thing we're going to talk about is locking out disconnects. This is if you cannot lock out your panel or anything like that, and the easiest way to do it is with a disconnect. Use your lock, put your hasp on there, and kind of get that done that way. So make sure you're locking off in the off position. If it is a panel or something like that, we can go ahead and just put it right on the outside, as long as it is not a disconnect. The disconnect, we want to lock out at the disconnect. If we've got, let's say, a main breaker that we can't get, some of the older main breakers, you just cannot get a lockout to fit on properly. So we go ahead, we turn off the breaker, close the door, and then lock the door so it can't be opened, just like this. And we might want to put a hasp on at that point so we can make sure if there's multiple people that want to lock something out there, they can. All right. So our kit either comes kind of like this. Some of the guys will carry it like this. And some of the guys will carry them in the bag. You're going to get a few different parts. First of all is a couple lockout, tagout tags. We'll want to have your name and phone number on there when you lock something out so we can call you, because you do not want to take apart, you don't want to take off anybody else's tag, but we'd want to do that. A lock with a single key. Now, if you've got one of the kits that goes on our trucks, you get two of everything you see here. A hasp, which is allowing you to be able to lock out multiple people on the same one. So let's say I'm working on the battery, somebody else is replacing the inverter. We'd both have our locks on there. We'd basically be able to come in here, take the key lock, put both of our kits on there with our names, with our tagouts on there, so that we could make sure that when I'm done, I take my lock off, but the power doesn't come on until every single lock's been taken off. So a hasp like that would go through only when it's locked. They'll either come in the metal version like this, or they'll come in the plastic version, mattering on what you need. We have your lock with one key, a single key. You have your flip lock here. These are really cool. They fit on a lot of different things. A lot of different people make these. Master lock, whatever. You've got, I kind of look at them like your C lock, your, kind of idea here. These are 2-pole locks. You'll get one of those. This is your, I don't know what they're all, half of them are called universal tagout kit, which doesn't work universally. So I don't know why we call it that. But all these are considered, they're all called universal tagout kit, universal tagout kit. This one right here has the point coming up here, which works really good on all of our breakers that are going to be quad breakers or triplex breakers. And then our DIN rail breaker type, this is a small, so it's a narrow with the prongs coming out. They also do make a wide and a closing in on the outside. We only use the inside one for our SolarEdge kits, and it works great for that. And I haven't really had, in America here, a need for the other versions, but if that is a need and you see that, we also carry them in our shop kit that you can check out. So kind of that's what's in the kits. You'll see that, and like I said, if you've got one of the kits on the trucks, it's a double kit, comes in a red bag, and it has double of everything in case you need to leave something. All right, I'm gonna switch on over to here, guys. So this is our training wall, and this is really what we're gonna talk about, is everybody has to pass the training wall test before they can move on. So we're gonna kind of go through some of the different kits that work on some of these different breakers. The first one is probably my favorite one ever. I really like this tool. It's a camming tool. As it flips over the top, it actually cams down and cams onto it, and it will fit on most of the individual versions. So we're gonna go ahead, pop that guy on, open her up, pop it on. Remember, it has to go with the same angle as the handle. So if the handle's off, the angle is coming up here. We slide that guy over the top, we tighten it down. Now it does come with a flat blade screwdriver tip on this side. We do not want to use that. We just want to snug it up. The camming action tightens it as we put it on. Once it's put on, we put our lockout, our tagout on, we slide it through the back, and we want to make sure that tag's on the inside here so we're not bumping up against any of the internal parts. All right? Same thing with this guy over here, okay? We can use these on a lot of the main breakers. This guy works awesome. Or any version of single pole breaker. We can go ahead and just tighten that guy down, lock it over, put our lock through there, we're good to go. Same thing here. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Come over here, lock it out and tag it out, we're good to go, okay? So any of that single style version like that, it's gonna work just fine. Remember, do not use a screwdriver on there. Just go ahead and lock it out, okay? Now, when it comes to any kind of 2-pole breaker or any of the 4-pole breakers, this is my favorite one. And the reason is because it has a pin here. So that pin allows us to be able to go down through the tie bar here and actually lock out all the breaker at once, and it's really impossible for it to come off. Now the one thing you do have to look at is you have to go through the slot here to lock it in place. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go over the top, we're gonna spin it closed. These do not have to be so tight you're gonna break something. So just go ahead and twist it down. Once it's like this, again, you're gonna put your lockout and your tagout on there, lock it down and go ahead and lock it. And now we'll keep that one done. Now, same idea. If we're coming over here to our breaker here, that it's just a two-pole standard, Eaton, Siemens, everybody makes them. Zinsco will work on this too. Same deal. We got a bar across the front here with a gap in the middle. We take our gap, we slide it over the top, and we tighten it down. Okay? So all this is also helping you pass the test. And remember, guys, this is a review. This is not meant to be training. This is just showing you what our kit looks like. You can buy your own kit. It is up to you. And it doesn't work on every single breaker on earth, but it covers quite a few breakers with the simplest way. Once you've got it on there, go ahead and twist it so you can get your lock through there. That guy will not come off. Okay, so these next ones, I'm going to get a little closer to you guys. I want to show you exactly how this works. So first of all, we're going to do the DIN rail version breaker. And it doesn't matter which direction it is, that's why we like this. And what we found is this guy and this guy here will work on these, but only if you have openings on top and bottom. So for our Solar Edge inverters, when this is in the backup interface, there's a block right here and we were hitting the top. So we weren't able to do that. So first off, we're gonna pinch. So the tool comes and we can pinch it. So you see I'm literally able to just push down on top. That opens it up. Now if you look on the chint breakers and a lot of the other ones, some of them don't have the groove as present, but there's a groove in here. When the breakers in Europe, the way these are designed, these are 480 breaker that you find in a lot of the European style breakers. The green means off, the red means on. Not in all situations, but in most of the situations we run into, again, for your systems, whatever you need to do, you need to retrain for that. But for here, we want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and take this guy. We're going to push in. We're going to go in the groove. There's little holes on both sides of the breaker. So I'm going to try to do this here. I'm going to push in and let go. And once it's in place, it locks itself down. And you'll hear it snap. And so it's actually through the pins, so it can physically not turn on. Then we go ahead and take our lock and lock it down. Okay? And there's 2 of these in the bigger kit and 1 in the smaller kit for when you're just replacing. Again, we go into the groove. We're going to try to go here, push it in, make sure it's in both sides. It locks down. And this is the narrow one for our chint style breakers. There is a wider version for other breakers if you need it for your group. For us, that works just fine. And that works on the ABB and the chint breakers just fine. Now when we get into triplex breakers, so these are breakers that have, your triplex, or some of them do have quads. All of them work basically the same. This style, swing, camming breaker style works really well. Again, we take it, we put it on here. We're going to cam it down. It locks on really nice and tight. We're going to put our lock through the top here. And we're good. Now here's the fun thing. It does work if you have just the one side you're trying to lock off on. We can just move it over, tighten it down, and cam it down. So we have to have the center and this outside one off. Vice versa, it works just real great on that. Sometimes you can get just that one side if you do have enough room, but most of the time you're going to have the center off in a triplex square D style breaker. This is another one that I really like. The unfortunate part when you get into Siemens breakers, this is a Siemens breaker one. So this guy is meant to lock off. Now, the one thing you have to do with these is we're going to lock off both top and bottom at the same time. So when this is in the off position, you can't lock it off. So you have to lock off both at the same time. So whether it's the outside or the inside, the one tool works the same. We want to make sure our hole is facing up because the C is going to be, in line with the breakers, and the breakers are running like this, towards us. So we're going to go ahead and set this guy with the flat part in the back. And we're going to go all the way over this. Some of these will not work and you have to trim them. But for this particular one, this brand works just fine. We go ahead, we pop it all the way over, and it has to be flat. So it has to be inside that bar and flat up against the breaker. Once that happens, we're going to go ahead and tighten her down. Tighten it down until we get a groove where we can go ahead and pick it up. Once that happens, and we can actually make that a little tighter than that. Once it's there, the center can't go on. We can't push the center on. And the outsides can't go on because it actually hits the breaker, which is why it's so important. It sets flat. We want it to set flat. So that's really the big change, because this one is really only for the Siemens Murray breakers, but they both have to be off, so they can't go here and they can't go here in the center. And again, lock goes here, folds down, lockout, tag out. And now when it comes to the Eaton style, this would be Eaton, this would be Challenger, this would be Bryant, all those guys. If we want to lock out just the center, so this is a 40-50 breaker, we want to lock out just the center. We want to go ahead and wrap it over the center bar. So this is what our point is here, the point here. So we're going to go over the center bar, come back down so the groove is facing back this way. So all the breakers are back this way. We're going to go around the center bar and go ahead and lock it down. Okay, once we've done that, we can go ahead and feed our bar through. Now the one with this is, it will not allow the center to go on, but the outside are still able to go on, the outside can still go on and off. So that's kind of a nice thing, you can leave it on the outsides and the center off. Now if you do have to take the center one, and we're trying to get the outsides, you're gonna have to leave them both off. So we're gonna go ahead and take this guy, we're gonna go ahead and leave our outsides off, center on. We're going to flip this guy in the reverse position so the flat part here is going over the top. We're going to go ahead and tighten it down. So go ahead and lock it down this way, and then we're going to go ahead and put our lock in here to tighten it off. And that will stop the outsides from being able to go forward because they're actually held down by the item here. Okay, so that can't go on, but now we have to leave the center on and the outside has to be off. So for those kind of breakers, that's the way we're going to do that. All right, guys, so that's how to do our test, and that's the kit we use here. It's not the kit that works for all situations, but it is the situations for us where it's 99% of the time. From there, what we're going to go ahead and say, guys, is remember this is for review purposes only. Put these kits on, use them, they're keeping you alive. I've had all kinds of problems in my life where I've had people flip on breakers. I've had breakers that, somebody's tripped the microwave inside the house, I flip the breakers off, they go inside, and they flip all those breakers on and I get shocked. So make sure you're doing this. I've also had old Zinsco breakers come on their own. We want to make sure that's locked off properly so they can't come back on. That's experiences I've had twice where I've had 100 amp Zinsco breakers come back on while I'm working on them. So as always, guys, review purposes, definitely for review purposes, train on your side. This is how we pass our test. You got to be able to put one on all these breakers here. For us, there's lots more breakers out there, but this is kind of our idea, and it works for most things. So as always, guys, have a great day. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments. Tell me you hate the way I did this. It's not the right way to do it. Whatever it is. But a lot of the kits are not built the way we do, guys, which is we piece them out so they work and then build the bag for them versus buying a kit and then just going, here's a kit that works on half the jobs. All right, guys. Have a nice day, and we'll talk to you later.